The Institute of Healing Memories North America helps people with their journey of healing through the organization's workshops. Father Michael Lapsley, who is the founder of the organization, will come to Lehman College and talk about his journey of being a freedom fighter to becoming a healer. Here now to share more about the forthcoming event, we welcome now Gloria Hodge, who's here with us, and so glad to have you.
Thank you.
So great event, and Father Michael Lapsley will be here giving a little bit more of an in-depth and out of South Africa.
Yes, we're just so pleased that he's going to be here at the college, at Lehman College. He has a very interesting story. He's an Anglican priest who, as soon as he was ordained, was sent to Durban, South Africa during the height of apartheid and escalating violence, and actually became the chaplain at 3 campuses to black and white students, which was fairly uncommon. But this gave him a unique perspective in seeing the racial oppression and the things that were going on. So he immediately became involved in the anti-apartheid movement and speaking out about that. So he spent a lot of time doing that and started kind of becoming an enemy of the apartheid regime. So after, in 1976, a lot of students were killed that year. He was actually expelled from South Africa and moved to Lesotho, where he joined the ANC, the African National Congress, and became their chaplain in exile, basically. But they became the hunted. So he was on the regime's hit list, and eventually in 1990, he received a letter bomb. Now, this was a few months after Mandela was actually released from prison, so it was unexpected. It came between 2 religious journals, and basically it blew off both his hands and an eye, and he was very burned. He was really lucky to survive. He kind of opened it to the side instead of in front of him. Had he, it would have taken off his head or hit his heart. So he always said that they did not destroy the one weapon he had, and that was his mouth.
Wow, wow. And so he's using his mouth coming here. Actually, he'll be here on the campus of Lehman College here in the borough of the Bronx, and he'll be talking and sharing with some students as well as faculty.
Yeah, and he's going to talk about his story, but also the work that we're doing. After he healed from his bombing, he actually went back to South Africa and became the chaplain at the trauma center there that helped victims of violence and worked bringing actually the 2 races together in these workshops. So we do a lot of healing and also reconciliation with the whole point of moving forward. It was about rebuilding South Africa. So what actually happened is after the work was happening there, people, different governments and organizations wanted him to come and do that work there, like after the genocide in Rwanda. So he went there as well. So we had our first workshop in New York City actually in 1999 at Riverside Church, and eventually started training facilitators to do the workshops. They're called Healing of Memory workshops because that is really what it was called when it began in the trauma center in South Africa. And basically organically did work, and then in 2009 we became our own nonprofit organization, and actually they were being run by a board of directors for many years, and I am the first executive director, just came on in January because we are in a lot of demand of our work and we're growing this organization very quickly.
So when you talk about the work that's being done, the healing, from freedom fighter to healer event, talk to us about that. How are people going to be really impacted by this?
Well, it's really, the work goes really, really deep because it's about not just your own healing journey, but it's also about owning your history and your country's history. And also about bringing diverse peoples together. So we bring together people from different religions, races, gender identities, it doesn't matter. It's really about bringing people together, and it's really about telling story. That's where it all began. The power of telling your story. And what we hear from a lot of people is, I never told my story before, or this is the first time I've ever expressed this. And they can be quite old at the time that they come because we work with veterans, we work with police and communities. That is growing rapidly, that work, especially ones that have been affected by really some terrible violence on the part of the police. And also we're now beginning, and we hope that Lehman College will work with us as well to develop our youth programming. It's really, really important to get to kids really young.
So if people don't know much about your organization, give them a little bit of a history.
Well, it really began with the Healing of Memories workshops in South Africa. It's spread all over the world. We are all over the world now. And the way that they are set up, it really goes very deep. So people say it's very transformative, but it's also transformative on the level of bringing people together and also trying to get people to understand the other, which is a big issue for us with immigrants and refugees and all the people that are being kind of outed as other and different. So what happens is when you bring these diverse people together and people really listen to each other's stories, they find how similar, that we have this common humanity. And this connection that happens tends to be really profound. So it's really a workshop methodology that was set up. It's kind of like the golden thread, and it's kind of how it works over like a weekend. And it just really has a profound effect, but also about bringing people together, which is really, really important to us. So we really hope also, because we're being asked to do a lot of race reconciliation, that we're really going to be doing a lot of that work right now.
Yeah, and talking about South Africa, of course, we know the race reconciliation that's going on there. Still a lot of work that needs to be done. But when we look around here locally, how much of an effect do you think you're making locally, given the fact we know what's going on in South Africa? We got a lot of work that we need to do right here.
Well, you know, it's interesting because the work that he was doing in South Africa, he actually worked alongside the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and Desmond Tutu is a good friend and also a patron of our institute. They've had a long relationship, and it was really to support the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And you're right, there's a lot of work to be done in South Africa still, a lot. We have a lot of work to do, especially given our social and political climate that we're living in. So I have been brought on board to grow, and I'm willing to grow as fast as possible, as many people as I can bring on my team with me. So, you know, come along and let's do this work. It's important work, but it's really about owning our history as Americans. And I'm talking owning our history. And that means genocide of Native Americans, that means slavery. And it's not about me not having a slave or me not committing genocide. Our history forms us. And that's a big part of our work, that we have to understand that there's transgenerational stories and history that gets carried on. And until we really confront ourselves and our history, we cannot move forward as a country.
So if people want more information, what do they do?
I would say visit the website, and my email's on there. Call me or email me, because I'd love to talk to you. And also come to Lehman College Monday, April 24th at 2:30 at Carmen Room B04, and meet Father Michael. He's a very interesting person. He's been through a lot and is really dedicated his life to healing us all, one person, one community, one country at a time.
And it's amazing to look at how his story has really impacted so many people, and the work that he's done to really let people know that in spite of everything that's happened to him, you know, there's still some work to do, and there's a way that you can have healing.
Yeah, and he does believe in restorative justice, and reparations. So he talks a lot about that around the world as well, and in the United States. So it's part of that that's part of healing as well. People taking responsibility.
It is. Gloria, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. And of course, we want people to come on out on the 24th as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem. Gloria Hodge, all right, our guest here in studio. Now listen, unfortunately, we have come to the end of our show today. We want to thank all of our guests for joining us. But most of all, you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the recablecast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Optimum's Channel 67, Verizon Files, that would be Channel 33, or anytime on the web at BronxNet.org. I'm Daren Jamie. It's been a pleasure coming to your homes. We tell you stay safe, keep this channel wide open, and God bless.